Buckle up, because we're going back to the time of Jesus, and what you're about to hear isn't taught in church. Let's start with a simple fact. During Jesus' time, the vast majority of people were illiterate, like couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't spell their own name, and that includes your favorite Bible characters. But somehow, Christians today are out here quoting scripture, like these ancient folks were college professors. Let's go step by step. 1. Let's start with Jesus' own crew, his disciples, fishermen, tax collectors, laborers, not scholars. Acts 4:13 even says they were uneducated ordinary men. So, who took the notes? Who recorded his teachings? Not the disciples. They couldn't even spell their own name. 2. Moses, the so-called author of the Torah. In Exodus 4:10, Moses tells God, "I'm not eloquent. I am slow of speech and of tongue." Translation: I can't read or speak well, and I'm not fit to deliver messages. Then God responds, "I'll send your brother Aaron to speak for you." So, Moses didn't even write the law. He just delivered it while Aaron helped translate. 3. Solomon, the so-called wisest man. The Bible brags that Solomon was wise, sure, but wisdom and literacy are not the same thing. Wisdom is experience, literacy is education. There's no evidence Solomon wrote anything himself. Every proverb was compiled centuries later, attributed to his name to give it weight. And let's be honest, most of Proverbs reads like recycled Egyptian sayings. That's because it was. 4. Jesus himself, could he read? Luke 4:16-20 says Jesus read from a scroll. But guess what? That scroll was handed to him. He read a passage, then rolled it back up. That's all it says. It doesn't confirm he could read, write, or interpret scripture on his own. Plus, there's not a single verse that says Jesus wrote anything. Not one word. 5. Paul wrote letters, right? Actually, Paul didn't write most of them himself. He dictated them to scribes. Romans 16:22 literally says, "I, Tertius, who wrote down this letter, greet you in the Lord." So even Paul had someone else do the writing. Final awakening moment. The people in the Bible, especially during Jesus' time, were not educated. They lived under Roman occupation. They were poor, working class, and politically oppressed. Education was for the elite. So ask yourself, if no one could read or write, who documented everything? Who kept perfect notes of every word Jesus said? Who edited, translated, and revised it hundreds of years later? Not eyewitnesses, not disciples, church institutions, scribes, translators, empires. You're quoting people who never wrote anything based on words someone else claimed they said, written by people who came centuries later, translated into a language your ancestors were whipped for not understanding. And yet, you call it truth? You were not born with a Bible. You were taught to believe in one, but now you have the power to read beyond it.